Host, Claire Kirian. Today we're joined by two wonderful guests and friends of mine. I hope I can call you friends.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be awkward if we were like, no, actually?
Yeah, we're just associates. Eilidh, Lindsay-Sinclair, and Laura Hawkins. Welcome, girls.
Thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
We have so many wonderful conversations, but now they're going to be documented.
Now it's being recorded.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time to show the people. You two are the founder and co-facilitator of Digital Skills for Women Plus, which is a wonderful program that we've been involved with for a few years. It's a free 6-session program designed to help bridge women and gender diverse individuals into tech. To date, we've had over 600 program participants, graduates at this point, which is crazy. And our next cohort applications open in early 2026. The program is virtual and open to folks of all across Nova Scotia. And the best way to find out about it is on our website and the DNS newsletter. We always announce when applications open. So thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to dive in.
Thanks for having us.
I don't think we need icebreakers, but they are fun. So we're gonna do a couple here today.
Let's do it.
And I know the two of you are big travelers, so this is an especially good question. If you could go anywhere tomorrow, where would you go?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I feel like this is not the answer you're looking for, but I was looking at some videos of folks in Cape Breton yesterday, and so my answer is Cape Breton. Like, I know, like, obviously maybe if you dropped me in Portugal, I'd be cool too, but it's just like so beautiful in Cape Breton in the fall, so like maybe I'll make it in November or something, but I think that would be my answer.
That's a great answer.
That.
A local
nice
answer.
Nova Scotian plug.
Listen, best province ever.
The people are gonna love it.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm taking it in a slightly different direction.
Oh dear.
I feel like one of my dream destinations is the Galapagos Island.
Oh, yes.
Because it is the home where Charles Darwin studied finches, learned about and kind of theorized about evolution, and there's just such biodiversity there. I feel like it would be, if you're like a nature buff, I feel like that would be an amazing place to visit and see all of the flora and fauna. Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. I never thought about the Galapagos Islands.
The Galapagos turtles.
Galapagos. That's true. I have heard of those.
Yeah.
People be talking about those.
Yeah.
Great answers. That was very diverse.
Yes.
So we're off to a good start. Yeah. Okay. This is a good one. If you had to describe your personality as a color, what color would it be and why?
I want to hear your answer first.
Okay, sure. I was thinking about this actually, and it's not just because I'm wearing green and you're wearing green, but I think the color green, I think what resonates with me is that photosynthesis is a process that needs green, the chlorophyll in plants, in order to convert and transform the energy of the sun into sugar. It forms the base of the food chain. It results in the oxygen we breathe. I just think that's such an amazing, like transformative color. And I'm gonna really miss it when all the green goes away for the winter. Yeah.
What a great answer.
Yeah, I should have gone first, hey?
You did yourself dirty on that one.
Yeah, I was like, go first, Laura. She's like, in 1942.
Green was first discovered on the color spectrum.
Yeah. Mitochondria.
I love that. Mitochondria.
Powerhouse of the cell. I was going to say blue. I think blue has a lot of range, which kind of describes me. I have a lot of different layers. Laura does too, actually. And like the ocean, and I don't know. The blue is just the first color that came.
Those are two very fresh.
I almost came with
naturey
blue.
colors.
Yeah. But that doesn't surprise me because I feel like we're two shades of the same.
Whatever. Yeah. That's sweet. When I think about color, I really think about. I think it was maybe last year, 2 years ago. You in the wintertime, every time we saw you, Laura, you always had like a really bright color on, and you were doing
dopamine dressing.
Yeah, dopamine dressing, because you're like, is this the saddest time of year?
Yeah.
I'm gonna dress.
Yeah,
happy.
we're gonna bring the color in.
So I didn't know what color you're gonna choose. I think I've seen you in every color under the sun.
Yeah, you've got some great colors.
Yeah. I love it. Those are great answers, girls.
Masquerading
Thank you so much.
as a personality.
Yeah. She's poetic as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I talked about the program, kind of a very high level what it is. I want to hear kind of your version of like what the program is, how it started, how we got here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and I think just like really quickly, if you're listening and you've never heard of the program before, essentially Digital Skills for Women Plus is a digital literacy program, and the purpose of it is to help bridge folks into sort of the ICT sector. And so Laura and I are co-founders of the program, and it kind of dates back to 2018 is when the program launched, but a lot of the program starting is based on sort of my experience falling into tech, which Laura can really relate to as well. But so I started my journey in tech in 2016, and I went to interview for this startup at the time called Cloud Kettle, which actually was bought by Bell Canada last summer. Great company, done really cool stuff in the province. And the night before my first interview at Cloud Kettle, I was like looking at their website, reading it and thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't know why. Someone had kind of referred me for the interview that I'd worked with. And I was thinking to myself, I need to cancel this interview. Like, I cannot understand anything on this website. Like, they've got the wrong girl. I don't know what they were thinking, but like, I can't go. And it was too late to cancel kind of politely. So I ended up going to the interview. I get the job. I end up working at Cloud Kettle for over 5 years. And I'm at work one day and I'm watching this training, and I see for the first time this quote about how, men will apply for a promotion when they've met 60% of the job requirements or more, but women will only apply when they've met 100% or more. And it literally transported me back to that night before the interview and reading the website and being like, oh my God, I have to cancel this, like super panicked. And I started to have this hypothesis of like, maybe there are other people out there that have aptitude for jobs that they don't know exist, or maybe they have aptitude for jobs but don't believe they do. And so, that was really in, I think 2018, we launched the first cohort, and we set out to kind of validate those hypotheses. And yeah, that's sort of where we are.
I love that. Rooted in your own experience.
Yeah. And then Laura too, like Laura was a speaker in year one. I had Emily Gorman helped me co-found in year one, and then Laura came on as a co-chair in year two, and it was supposed to be a 1 year thing, and I think that was like 6 years ago, so 5 years ago, something like that.
Really bad with breakups.
Yeah, so she got more than she bargained for, but.
Yeah, once I got in as a speaker, I would just like, I loved what it was about. I had not an exactly parallel experience, but somewhat similar in that Eilidh and I both graduated from Mount St. Vincent. At the time, it was a public relations degree, and it was kind of at a time when the curriculum was not terribly digitally focused. There was like a social media module, but it really was not focused on digital, but that was the demands of the job market. And kind of early into my career, I landed a job at like an agency that did web design and development, and Cool Partners, shout out to Cool Partners. I stayed there for 10 years, and that was like digital training ground. Right. And so that was such like a transformative experience because it took my career in a path that was like completely digitally focused, and opened up my eyes to say, wow, there's a lot of opportunity in this space that I didn't even know existed. Again, if I had have seen the things that I would end up doing, I'd be like, oh, I don't think that's something I could do. But then you learn on the job. So that resonated so much with me, and I was like, I'm advancing in this space. I want to bring other people with me. Like, I think that's such an important part of, I don't know, if you have privilege and you have opportunity, is to like bring people along with you. So that is what 100% attracted me to kind of like the mandate of this program. So that's why I've stuck around for so long. And it's so much fun.
I love it.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
We have the best community.
Yeah.
It's a unique program in the way that it's getting people like right at the beginning, like before the beginning, it's like opening their eyes to what is out there, so then they can kind of dig deeper and create their own path. There's so many people who kind of are, a lot of even our own programs are filling gaps like 3-4 steps ahead of that, where people already know, or they think they know, or whatever. But I think this is a really unique program in kind of the time where you grab people and show them what's out there and what they could be a part of.
It is the most top of funnel part.
Super top of funnel.
We're not trying to replicate any of the more advanced and technical offerings that are out there. It's really meant to be a sample pack, like learn about a bunch of different things, learn the language, see that it's not intimidating. It's all women and gender diverse instructors, so people can see themselves in it too. It's like, this local person is doing it, it makes it so much more, like just having that representation makes it so much more, people can picture themselves and see, okay, maybe this isn't as hard as I thought. Learn about a bunch of different things. And it's really interesting to see how participants end up choosing paths that they might not have originally foreseen for themselves. But once they learn about it, they're like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And I know I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you meet people all the time in the workplace where, you know, you find out what their original degree was, or like where they first started working. And you're like, how'd you get here? You know, and people take, I think that's just a really natural thing where people take these crazy journeys or end up places that they don't necessarily would have seen themselves. So I think helping people navigate that and either see opportunities or be conscious about the paths that they're taking is really impactful.
Totally. I think too, it's interesting. I heard this once, and I can't remember who said it, but this idea that like imposter syndrome is a way to individualize a societal problem. And so I think, you know, when we think about barriers for women and gender diverse folks entering tech, there's like hard barriers, but there's also these like really nebulous, intangible like feelings of not belonging or language or like confidence, awareness. And I think what Laura and I both have in our stories into tech is that like a lot of privilege but also just luck and kind of landing somewhere and realizing like, oh, like, you know, we could have easily not have been here and kind of ended up in this career as we did, and really feeling like there's an opportunity for women and gender diverse folks in our community to have access to these jobs that are, you know, in a lot of ways like very beneficial, and there's a lot of opportunity. So I think and I know we'll talk a little bit about like some of the barriers that we, you know, feel this program helps address, but I think that's where a lot of that comes from for us.
Yeah. I always like whenever we have co-op students or I meet young people they're looking to get into tech, honestly, and I know you started your career in the agency world and as did I, and I do think that like that is I always encourage them to kind of start there because of the reason that they're going to be exposed to so many people and so many roles under the same roof. So to me, it's kind of what you've built. It's like, let's show you kind of what's out there, and then you can kind of pick a lane. And that's like a huge advantage I find with like the agency world is it like gives them the platter and they can meet experts, and where a lot of other jobs just don't create that opportunity or have that, you know? So I think it's awesome. So now we'll hop into it. So you're talking about bridging some of these gaps and giving people opportunities who aren't usually presented them. So do you know how many women and gender diverse people are currently in the ICT sector right now?
I can speak to this a little bit. StatsCan did some research into this, and one of their recent findings is that even though women make up nearly half of the workforce, they're only represented by 28% in the ICT sector in Canada. So that is, you know, kind of clear misalignment. When it comes to gender diverse individuals, there's a lot less research on that. I think, is it called the TAM network in 2023 did a little bit of looking into this, and the range might be like 0.06. So really, when we look at this issue, there are jobs that are sitting vacant. Like I think there's some stat that where maybe a third of cybersecurity, as an example, roles sit vacant. So we have these spaces that are sitting vacant, normally good jobs, like well-paying, you know, could be rewarding jobs, solving major problems, like societal problems, and there's not enough skilled labor really to occupy those spaces. So we have all of these people, like this untapped market of people that that's really the idea is how can we bridge more of these people that might not have seen themselves to help address this skills gap issue. And if you have more diversity, that leads to, just like going back to my nature, like diversity equals resilience.
Right.
Like if you hear about biodiversity, like we can take a lot of examples from nature, and the workforce and the places that humans create are actually no different. So if you have more different types of people in a space, it will make it more resilient. So not only can we fill the spaces, but we can make it more resilient by having lots of different types of people at the table.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. I remember hearing a similar stat like years ago, and it was like 26% or something. Like, I feel like that stat that I've been hearing for the last
hasn't seemed to shift it.
like has not shifted much at all.
Yeah.
Which means that there's a lot of opportunity to move the needle.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some of the biggest barriers that these people are facing entering the sector? I mean, we can talk specifically to Nova Scotia. Why is it like that?
Yeah, I think that, there's a couple of different barriers at the very top of the funnel, which is like where our program sits, and that's what we've sort of aimed to address. And I think the two biggest ones are really like an awareness barrier, and then sometimes a confidence barrier, but also like there's often sort of like an unwritten set of rules with every different sector, right? So like the opportunity for tech is that the barrier to entry for a lot of roles is lower than some other degrees and jobs, like if you wanted to become like a lawyer, for example. So I think that number one is the awareness piece. And so that's why, Laura described the program as like a sample pack. So we don't go deep on any one topic. The idea is to give people like a really wide view of like, here are 10 or 12 topics in tech. And the other thing we really try to do during the course of the program is really challenge people and challenge their mindset and then their like sort of limiting beliefs about themselves, right? So like one experience I had when I joined Cloud Kettle was having to do a bunch of stuff I would have really not approached or written myself off for. So like becoming a database administrator because it was a requirement of the company. Like I got my Six Sigma green belt, which was all like process and all these, as someone who was sort of in like the, literally what my high school called like the dumb math class. I went to an Asian high school in Shanghai, the private school. So there was like 5 math classes anyways. I was in, the lowest math class.
You come back to the...
Exactly.
You come to the reunion with your, I'm a Six Sigma.
Yeah,
you have
take
a
that.
physical belt.
Yeah. My math teacher honestly was an angel.
Bro. Cut that out.
Take 2. But yeah, so like I think, over time, like we all build up these, limiting beliefs. And I don't think that's an individual problem. I do think that has a lot to do with how women and gender diverse folks are socialized and some of these bigger kind of systematic things. But I think that what this program does is build community and shows people the path, right? So oftentimes we have people come in to the program and they have no idea what they want to get out of it. They're just curious. They kind of want to make a change. They have no idea to what. And the greatest success is to see them leave the program and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to take a course on web development. I'm going to take a course on UX UI. I've figured out that I want to go into cybersecurity. And, as Laura mentioned, like this is not an employment program. What we want people to have coming out of this program is that mindset shift and is that confidence shift of like, these are the things that are out there and available to me, and I am capable of doing them. And I think that's really like what we've seen work well in the program.
Awesome.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, the barriers, like, again, are like awareness, knowing things are out there, and then confidence. Yeah. I can do this. I'm capable of doing it.
And I think the community piece that comes with it, too, is huge because to enter or even think about entering a new field and not knowing what it is or anyone in it, so creating that community and giving them access to mentors or just people to chat about who are kind of on a similar journey, I think is like a major impact piece for that.
Yeah, people want to know too, and we hear this from people all the time. Like right now, I'm in HR and I'm interested in maybe like web development, but am I ever going to talk to other people? Like what's my day-to-day look like? Like they can't picture it. And I think too, uncertainty creates friction in decisions. And so I find this program really helps, help people find clarity, like where is their path and where can they see themselves?
Yeah, totally. So when we first started working with you gals, the program was called Digital Skills for Women, but we're talking a lot about women and gender diverse individuals in this conversation. So what was the motivation to make that switch, to add the plus on there and to kind of widen your reach?
Even from the program's inception, even though we started as Digital Skills for Women, it was always part of our imperative to really reach basically people who were not represented in the tech industry. And so even in our descriptive language, we were trying to make it open and more inclusive, but it just wasn't really, we were like, how do we do this effectively? How do we make
Right.
sure that we are creating a more welcoming space? Because that was always in the back of our minds, really the goal of the program was to help underrepresented people explore careers in tech. So where this took us was actually through support from ACOA and Digital Nova Scotia as well, working with queer consultants on how do we keep the brand recognition the Digital Skills for Women has built in the community and maintain that while also ensuring that language was inclusive. And they recommended Women Plus and then recommended kind of like a suite of language for us to begin adopting. And it was a really smooth transition. It really didn't change fundamentally what we were doing, but we just that kind of maybe seemingly on the outside small tweak, we've heard directly from both participants and speakers that it's made a huge difference as to whether or not they've decided to participate in the program. Overhauling even kind of like the way we use language throughout the program has resonated with people and given them like help them see themselves in the program. So we've been really happy that has been the case. And again, like going back to what I was saying a little bit earlier, this is a huge, there's seats to fill. We need people to feel welcome. So if we can make these minor, adjustments that mean a lot to people, like it just feels so, I don't know, obvious to do.
Yes, totally.
But it's been cool to see that has had an impact on people's willingness to participate.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. That was probably one of the first things. So when DNS got involved in about, I think it was 2022.
Yes.
That was one of the first things that we tackled kind of as a collective. What other impacts have you guys seen since, because that was a big decision for you to take this program that was such a passion project and still is, taking it from off the side of your desk and going to a nonprofit and saying like, we want to do more. We want to involve someone else. That's a big decision. And it can be a hard thing to do to kind of take something that's so personal and involve other parties, we got funding through ACOA, which is amazing. So
have someone else help us raise our baby.
Yes. We're the nanny.
I mean, I can give a little bit of the history too. Maybe
Yeah,
that would
sure.
be helpful to set the scene.
Yeah.
But so when the program was founded, Eilidh and I were doing it on a completely volunteer basis.
Right.
And it was like a ragtag group of, us. And then our speakers weren't being paid, but they resonated so much with the idea of the program. So the whole thing was volunteer run.
Right.
At the time, I think we started with 10 participants a cohort, kind of testing the water. And then it was like, how do we make it a little bit bigger? How do we make it a little bit bigger? And we got to a point, I guess that would have been maybe 3 or 4 years in, and we came to this realization that having it be completely volunteer run was almost like, we were like, okay, well, we got to at least start paying our speakers, because it's a little bit like, against the principles of the program to not be paying women for their labor if it's a program meant to advance women. And also volunteering is a privilege that not everyone has. Between time and financial. So we were like, how do we make it so that we can at least pay speakers?
Right.
So that was the first time Digital Nova Scotia got involved to sponsor us, to help us pay speakers.
Right.
But maybe I'll pass it to you to take it home for us.
Yeah, and I think too, it's so, I was going to say, so we had, we entered into sort of like a formal partnership in 2022, and we've done so much together. But even before then, the first time where we really needed support was in 2020, when we really like woke up one day and realized like, and both Laura and I had been putting in hundreds of hours to sort of run this volunteer. And we were like, it's actually critical that we pay our speakers, though, for all the reasons that Laura just shared about, volunteering being a privilege that not everyone has access to, for the fact that our mandate is to advance women and gender diverse folks. So Digital Nova Scotia stepped in then as one of the main sponsors to help us cover that cost. And I think we made that decision like 2 weeks before the next cohort started, right? So we were like, we kind of had this big epiphany moment, and we're like, all right, let's go get some money. And we had been, running really, really lean. So that was sort of the beginning of the relationship. Like Digital Nova Scotia always saw the value of this program. It started with Caitlin, shout out to Caitlin, who, really believed in the power of the program, helped us then. And then as Laura kind of alluded to, we were trying to build sustainability into the program, right? Like both of us, have come close to burnout a couple times.
I can imagine.
We both have really demanding day jobs as well. So we were like, how do we build sustainability here? And the other thing we kind of realized is, Laura and I have very similar backgrounds, right? So when we're building this program, when we're delivering it, you've got two very similar points of view. And that really impacts, how people experience the program and the decisions that are made. And I think, going back to like the name change as an example, like building a psychologically safe sort of space for people has been so important for this program to be successful. And it's been a series of very small decisions, right, that's created that. And so when we partnered with you guys in 2022, number one, we were able to, significantly increase our reach. So like as Laura alluded to, we were graduating 10 to 15 people per cohort. You folks now graduate 90 people a cohort, right? So just the impact that that's having on this community is amazing. ACOA getting behind it and also seeing the value of the program, all of that together has just created such an impact. But also the wealth of knowledge that, Digital Nova Scotia brought to the delivery and to the finer details in your team, right? Like that's, you've done things that Laura and I could never do, just the two of us, right? And that's like the true beauty of partnership. Yeah. And I think it's made it, it's absolutely made it more sustainable, but it's made it more accessible. It's made it more welcoming in every way because we have more voices adding to it. And I think where it is today is that it exists in a way that is in accordance with our values and like what we're trying to do, right? So people are compensated for their time. And so we're really kind of living our values. And I think that was really important to Laura and I. So, and just want to say also thank you to Digital Nova Scotia because it's been such an amazing partnership and we've been in the trenches together, but like we've built something so incredible together and very proud of what we've been able to do here in Nova Scotia.
Totally.
And after this the cohort that is currently in flight will get close to 700 graduates, which is not a scale that Eilidh and I would have ever been able to achieve on our own. And realistically, like if something happened to either of us, like the program would have gone away. So now it can, if one of us wins the lottery, which...
Or if Laura becomes a scientist in the Galapagos Islands, like...
There's a threat. There's a looming threat.
There's a looming threat, Claire. Yeah, we got to watch her.
Jane Goodall to hear her story.
Big shoes to fill, but I'm up for the job.
Gotta do it.
Someone has to take
I said
over.
it here first.
Yes. I can see you next year. That's so funny. No, it's been amazing. Yes, this episode's actually dedicated. Actually, I think I was supposed to say, we're just going to put it in here. You can tell I'm very professional. This episode is sponsored by the Tech Forward Awards.
Oh, amazing.
Which is our biggest event of the year, biggest and greatest event of the year on November 20th. And please get tickets. And also, this is dedicated to Jane Goodall. Thank you.
And can validate that the Tech Forward Awards are a great place to network. My first one was last year. I really, really enjoyed it. Food was good. Talked about ghosts a little bit with people at my table.
It was me. It was me. I don't know if they'll put me at your table again this year. Yeah, we capitalized that conversation.
We need to keep these people separate. So if you don't have your tickets, buy them now.
Buy your tickets.
And meet us there.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you there with bells on. Okay, we're going to get back to the curriculum here.
Yep.
It's been amazing to see. It's been amazing to see the program grow. I mean, you came to us with like such an awesome program, and then you're right, like the scalability of it is like, because that was like, I think the biggest thing that we were able to help with is giving more people access to this wonderful program, which is amazing. So happy to see that, and it's going to continue to grow. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so we're gonna hop down to this question here.
Hop on down.
We're gonna hop on down.
Give us a zinger.
Oh, also, I feel like, sorry to circle back, but just to double click on the partnership with DNS, I think another really cool stat is like in 2024, we saw 10% of Digital Skills for Women Plus alumni move into a Skills for Hire program that you folks run. Yes. So we've seen it be a feeder program into these more intermediate programs that DNS and other people run. And I think that's the exact success that we're looking for. So I think, it really builds on all of the amazing stuff that your organization's already doing as well. So we really loved to see that. And that was another kind of hypothesis. And so it's been nice to see that come.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's had a lot of benefit for our program as well, and our other programs as well, which is awesome, because a big goal of ours is to have diverse participants across all of our programs. So like basically creating this funnel of engaged women and gender diverse individuals has been like an amazing benefit to like our whole suite. It's also given us access to a lot of wonderful people for other opportunities that we run, you know? So it's changed our audience a bit.
Yeah.
It's embellished our audience a bit, which is it's amazing. It's huge for us as well.
It's really cool. Yeah. And I think that's why like this program is sort of the missing piece in the ecosystem. Like, you know, I've recruited for programs. I've also recruited for hiring. And when you're recruiting for a program and you're not getting the participants, like a diversity in sort of the applicant story, you know, some of that starts like way up the funnel. It's about, you know, bringing people into the funnel to begin with, right? And I think that's really what we've seen be successful with this program. And yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we all love the program. If you can't tell, we're big fans. But we have a lot of participants who've said really lovely things about the program. So do you have a particular testimonial that's really stood out to you of a previous graduate?
Do you want to take this one? Do you want me to? I can think of a few folks.
Yeah, dive in.
Okay. I mean, someone who comes to mind automatically, her name is Abby, and she graduated from the program in 2019. And she has been, since graduating, just like a tremendous champion for the program.
Love it.
She's come back on panels and has just continued to stay really kind of plugged into the program. But her path, I think, really exemplifies an ideal type of path. So she started in HR at SAP, which is, you know, like a software company. She took the program, she took Digital Skills for Women Plus, and she describes our program as a dream clarifier. So it set her on the path to then go on and take further upskilling, and she landed an IT specialist consulting role at IBM.
Wow.
So she was able to take the transferable experience from working in kind of a software like tech environment in a big company, the experience from our program and the other upskilling she took to be able to make that shift. So really cool. It took a number
Super
of
cool.
years.
Yeah.
That's what we typically see too. Like it's usually 18 to 24 months that someone will make a full career change if that's what they're wanting to get out of the program. But that's a really, really good example, I think, of not an ideal path. There's no one ideal path, but it's a cool example. Yeah.
For sure. And I think a lot of the other successful alumni we've seen, like another one that comes to mind is Lucy, who participated, I think, in 2019 as well, or maybe 2020, and similarly wanted to switch careers, had been doing sort of like marketing events in Korea, kind of came to Halifax and was like, I don't want to do marketing anymore, but I don't know what I want to do next. And so came into the program and sort of zeroed in on web development, and 18 months after graduating landed her first tech job. And I think the other thing that I love to see, and we're hoping to measure this, you know, more closely, actually we have some surveys launching over the next few months. So if you're an alumni watching this, we'll be sending you some surveys.
You're going to love what's coming
You're
your
going to
way.
love it. Just get ready. But I love to see too when women and gender diverse folks stay in tech, right? Because that's another big phenomenon, is the drop-off rate, right? And so I think the community, like of Digital Skills for Women Plus, is really the magic of this program. Like the people, the alumni, the speakers, like everyone who's involved. Like we're just so incredibly lucky. And so both Lucy and Abby, as an example, like not only made the switch, they're still in tech today. And like that's what we love to see. And you know, we've seen other people, it can take 3 or 4 years sometimes for folks, right? Especially if you have other responsibilities at home. But I think the important thing is we validated that this program enables people to be put on a path and see themselves in tech where they weren't able to see themselves before.
And know what they're getting into. I think the retention is like really tied to having a good understanding of what they're getting themselves into. Right?
Yeah.
They're not just going in blind. So I think that's a huge factor here.
Totally. And I think community can kind of be like an antidote to some of the challenges, right, that folks will face. Like we're in a chicken and egg situation, right, where there's not enough women and gender diverse folks in the tech sector and we need more. But, you know, some environments, there are going to be some challenges, right? And so I think too, what we see is like the peer sort of like peer-to-peer collaboration and camaraderie that's built in the program means that even if they go off in completely different directions, they have people to come back to that are their community. And I think that's really important. And even like with the speakers, like we've seen a lot of people sort of navigate their way into tech via the relationships with the speakers. And so that's really beautiful to see as well.
Yeah, shout out to our speakers who have taken time well outside of delivering sessions to mentor people and keep in touch with people. And that has helped facilitate a lot of people making connections and networking. So yeah.
You've done a really good job at choosing to involve people in the program who value it in the same way that you do. You know? So
we're lucky that way.
It makes a huge difference, which makes for like a really impactful and wonderful program. So
shout out to our speakers.
So for those listening who might be interested in dipping their toes in the tech scene, or, you know, taking on a new challenge, one piece of advice, one line, what would you say to them?
I think going back to this original hypothesis, it is around the mindset. I think there is something to be said for being open-minded and curious. And every time we kick off a cohort, I congratulate the people that have shown up, even though they might not know what they want to do. They might not know if it's for them, but they are open. They're open and approaching something with curiosity, and that is an attribute that will take you really everywhere in life, like not just in your career, but so that the biggest thing I think is the mindset. Be open-minded, be curious, and see where that leads you.
That's a good one. I love that.
I was going to say good luck getting a one-liner out of me and Laura.
One thing only?
Okay, so like that, but like one line.
So try it and do it right.
Okay. Take two.
I think, but totally, be open-minded, be curious. And I think, why not you? Like, you know, there's so many reasons that we have limiting beliefs about ourselves, and almost all of those are not our fault. But I guarantee you, you have nothing to lose. You know, take this program, surprise yourself, be open-minded, be curious. There's just more of a chance that you're going to land somewhere unexpected than not. Like, that's what we've seen, right? It's time and time again. That's what the numbers show us. So, you know, why not you? There's no reason not to. Apply today.
Yeah.
XOXO.
See where it takes you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Those are very inspirational. I feel like be curious. Isn't that a Ted Lasso quote? Were you quoting Ted Lasso?
Not intentionally, but
Are
I
we
might have been
are we gonna be sued?
Yeah, cease and desist. Be curious is actually mine. Or we could do, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, Laura Hawkins, and now you have that on record.
And now we're
with
saying
all of the proper chains of
that's
attribution.
how you get out of a lawsuit, is you just
cite.
You're so smart.
Yeah, triple cited.
She probably learned that in the program. So take the program. Thank you for being here, girls. It's always
Thanks
fun
for
hanging with
having
you. You're wonderful. It's a wonderful program, and
thank you for supporting us and for letting us share our story with your listeners.
all right.
Yeah.
Hope everyone listening loved it. Bye bye.